Xin Chào. I've always loved Vietnamese food, especially pho. Whenever I ate a warm bowl of pho back home, I've always wondered what does it taste like in Vietnam? That tiny curiosity slowly became a dream. Then every time I searched for Vietnam online, one place kept appearing. It looked exactly like the peaceful Studio Ghibli world I always imagined. That place was Sapa. So today I'm taking you with me on my very first trip to Vietnam. Our adventure started in Jakarta before flying to Hanoi, Vietnam's capital city. Instead of spending the night in Hanoi, we decided to take an overnight sleeper bus straight to Sapa. We booked HK bus line through Kuluk, and honestly, I think it's one of the easiest way to get there, guys. The journey takes around 6 to 7 hours, but because you travel overnight, you wake up already surrounded by mountains. A little tip though, if you're planning to book this bus, choose the lower sleeping pod. It's easier to get in and out, feels more stable during the journey, and if you're someone who gets car sick like me, it's definitely the better option. The bed were surprisingly comfortable. I don't even remember most of my journey because I fell asleep most all the time. When I opened my eyes again, it was 6 in the morning. Outside the window, the mountains were slowly appearing through the fog. We had finally arrived in Sapa. The first thing that welcomed us was rain. Lots of rain. Apparently, we had chosen one of the wettest months to visit. June and July are part of Vietnam's rainy season. The weather is cooler, which makes walking much more comfortable, but it also meant thick fog, sudden rainstorm, and sometimes you won't even be able to see the famous mountain view. Did we choose the wrong season? Maybe, but sometimes rain has a way of making places feel more magical. For our stay, we booked Pistachio Hotel Sapa, and honestly, I would absolutely stay here again. One of the biggest reasons is its location. It's only a short walk away from Sun Plaza, the town center, cafe, restaurant, and the station for Fansipan. Since Sapa is best explored on foot, staying somewhere central made everything much easier. Although we arrived around 6 in the morning, the hotel was so fully booked, so early checking was not possible. But the staff really welcomed us warmly, and they even upgraded our room. Originally, we booked a mountain view room. Instead, we received a room with a private balcony. That honestly made my day. I was so happy. The room was so spacious. It's beautifully designed. It has a bathtub and overlook at the mountains, even though most of the time it's foggy. After walking nearly 20,000 steps every day, that bathtub became one of my favorite places. The hotel also has an indoor heated swimming pool overlooking the mountains, but sadly, our itinerary was so packed that I never got the chance to swim. I still regret that until this moment, actually. The only downside was the nearby construction created some noise during the daytime, but overall, I think the location, comfort, breakfast, and the mountain view easily made up for it. Of course, our very first meal in Vietnam, it has to be pho. Pho is often considered Vietnam's national dish, a comforting bowl of slow-cooked beef broth, rice noodle, herbs, lime, and tender slices of beef. I've eaten pho many times back home, but eating it here on a rainy mountain morning felt completely different. The broth was so deep. It tasted so deeper. The herbs were fresher. Everything felt incredibly comforting. Since it kept raining, we decided to hide inside one of Safa's well-known cafe. It was called the Mist. This cozy cafe has become popular because of its mountain view, relaxing atmosphere, and adorable resident cats and some other pets. Needlessly to say, I spent more time petting cats than drinking the coffee. I ordered coconut coffee, salted caramel coffee, cheesecake, banana cake, and later a Vietnamese baguette. Everything was so delicious. Vietnamese coconut coffee quickly became one of my favorite drinks during the trip. Originally from Hanoi, it combines strong Vietnamese coffee with creamy frozen coconut. It tastes somewhere between coffee and dessert. And if you visit Vietnam, please try one. So I spent more time with the cats and enjoyed my time in the cozy cafe, just like chilling out there because it was raining so much, guys. Then after that, we went back to the hotel after I kind of cleaned myself off like all this like furs. So all the buildings in Sapa is really pretty, but one building immediately caught my attention, and it was the Sun Plaza. This beautiful yellow building almost looked like it belongs in somewhere in Europe. Its French colonial architecture reflects on the influence of France once had over Vietnam during the colonial period. Today, I think the Sun Plaza has become Sapa's most recognizable landmark. But it's much more than just a pretty building. Inside is the station for the Muang Hua Mountain Railway, which takes visitors toward Fansipan Mountain. Even if you ever plan to ride the train, it's still one of the most photogenic places in northern Vietnam. One of the biggest reasons we traveled all the way to Sapa was actually to visit Fansipan. If you are wondering why everyone talks about this mountain, well, Fansipan isn't just another mountain. It's known as the roof of Indochina, standing at about 3,147 meters above sea levels. It is actually the highest mountain in Vietnam and also the tallest peak in the entire Indochina region, which includes Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. For many years, reaching the summit was considered a serious expedition. No joke. Yeah, I can believe that. Before the cable cars existed, people would spend 2 or even 3 days hiking through dense forests, crossing rivers, and climbing steep mountain trails just to reach the top. While I was over there, like riding, I was actually, looking down, like under my feet, and I was thinking, like, wow, how did they like build this? But yeah, it's amazing. It was physically demanding that they built like this, like a easier way to reach the top, and only experienced hiker could make the journey. But in 2016, everything changed. Sun Group built one of the world's most impressive cable car system, making Fansipan accessible to almost everyone. And today, you don't need to be like a mountaineer anymore. Families, children, and even elderly visitors can stand on the highest mountain of Indochina. The mountain railway only takes around 6 minutes, but it might be one of the prettiest 6 minutes ride I ever taken. As the train slowly climbed at the mountain, we passed beautiful valleys, terraced rice fields, and rolling hills, like disappearing into the mist. Even before reaching Fansipan, the journey itself already felt really worth it. Once we reached the station, it was time to board the Fansipan Legend cable car. This cable car isn't just famous because it's beautiful, but when it first opened, it held the Guinness World Record for having the largest elevation difference of any free rope cable car in the world. To be honest, I was pretty scared on the ride. In just around 15 minutes, I think, you climb more than 1,400 meters up the mountain. Watching the forest slowly disappear beneath the clouds was incredible. Although, because we visited during the rainy season, most of what we saw was clouds, like lots and lots and lots of clouds. Honestly, this is why choosing the right season matters. If you want to see the famous like panoramic mountain views. I think the best months to visit Fansipan are September to November, or maybe March to May. This season usually have the clearer skies, cooler temperatures, and much more better visibility. We came during the late June, so which meant like frequent rain and thick fog. Did we miss the famous view? Maybe, absolutely, but it's still worth it though. Would I still recommend you coming? 100%. When you reach the summit, something surprised me. I expected just a viewpoint, but instead it's almost like an entire spiritual mountain village. There are beautiful Buddhist temples, stone staircases disappearing into the clouds, prayer flags, gardens, and one of the largest bronze Buddha statues in Vietnam. And even if you're not religious, the atmosphere felt incredibly peaceful. It almost feels like walking through another world. Now, there is still one last climb. You have two options. You can challenge yourself and climb around 600 stone steps to the summit, or do what we did, which was to take the peak rail, a small mountain tram that saves your knees from the final climb. No shame here. I mean, we took like the train, obviously. Finally, we barely reached the summit. Well, sort of. We knew there was supposed to be an incredible mountain view, right? Instead, we could barely see 5 meters in front of us. The clouds was completely swallowed the mountains, but somehow standing on the highest mountain in Indochina felt surreal. Sometimes the destination isn't what makes a memory, the journey there does. And here's a little fact. Fansipan is home to what many people consider the highest Starbucks in Vietnam, guys. Sitting high on the mountain near the cable car station, there's just something funny about sipping a Starbucks coffee thousands of meters above the sea level, surrounded by clouds, of course. Being the matcha lover that I am, I ended up stopping at Café du Soleil instead for a warm matcha while hiding from the rain. It is exactly what I needed. Looking back, if someone asked me, is Fansipan worth visiting even if the weather is bad, I'll still say yes, because Fansipan isn't only about the view, it's about the journey through the mountains, the engineering behind one of the world's most remarkable cable car system, the peaceful temples above the clouds, and the feeling of standing on the roof of the entire region. Maybe next time though, I'll come back, maybe during the autumn. Hopefully, the mountain will finally reveal itself. The next day, we decided to go to Cat Village. Despite its name, it actually has nothing to do with cat, guys. The name is believed to have evolved from the French word cascade, meaning waterfall. Today, the Cat Village is home to the Black Hmong people, one of Vietnam's largest ethnic minority groups. With our guide, we learned about the indigo dyeing, weaving, embroidery, silver craftsmanship, and traditional clothing. As someone who enjoys knitting, sewing, and handmade crafts, this became one of my favorite experiences in Sapa. Every piece was handmade, and every pattern, I believe, carried generation of traditions. It reminded me that craftsmanship isn't just about creating beautiful things, it's about preserving stories. One thing I highly recommend is seriously wear comfy shoes, because Sapa is full of hills, stone pathways, and stairs, and Kaka village is no exception. Walking into the village is the easy part because it's mostly downhill, but remember, everything you walk down, you'll eventually have to walk back up. By the end of the day, your legs will definitely know they had a workout. You will notice rows of colorful traditional clothing available for rent. Many visitors choose to dress in the traditional Hmong costumes and take photos around the village, especially near the waterfalls, rice terraces, and charming wooden houses. One of my favorite moments was actually watching the traditional cultural performance. The music echoed through the valley while local dancers performed in their beautifully handcrafted clothing. It was a lovely glimpse into the traditions that have been passed down through generations. Of course, we couldn't live without trying some local snacks along the way. Sometimes the best meals are simply the ones you stumble upon while wandering. As someone who loves making things with my hands, this is probably my favorite part of Kaka village. Everywhere you look, you'll find handmade textiles, embroidery, bags, scarves, and table runners, pillow covers, silver jewelry, and baskets, and beautiful indigo dyed fabrics created by the local Black monks community. These aren't just souvenirs, they're pieces of craftsmanship that reflects generation of traditions, patience, and skill. After walking through nearly every little shop, I finally found something I couldn't leave behind. A beautifully woven tablecloth filled with rich colors and intricate patterns. Now, every time I see it on my dining table back home, it reminds me of this little mountain village and the people who continue to preserve their tradition through their art. Sometimes I believe that the best souvenirs aren't the expensive ones. One thing that surprised me the most was discovering that Sapa is famous for salmon. Because of its cool mountain climate and clean rivers, it's one of the few places in Vietnam where salmon farming is possible. So naturally, we had to try salmon hotpot. The portion was huge, we got like fresh salmon, vegetables, mushroom, and a comforting broth perfect for the cold weather. We also became curious enough to try the local mountain wine. Let's just say it was so much stronger than expected. Oh, we tried Bambi as well. Yes, we tried Bambi me, but it was really nice experience to try. Before we knew it, our time in Sapa was over. There were still cafe I wanted to visit, more food I wanted to try, to be honest, and more little shop filled with handmade crafts. And hopefully next time, better weather. Sapa gave me beautiful food, beautiful people, beautiful memories. Even without the famous mountain view, sometimes, that's enough. As our sleeper bus slowly left Sapa behind, I found myself already thinking about coming back 100%. Maybe during the winter, maybe when the rice terraces turn golden, or maybe when the mountains finally reveal themselves without the fog, or maybe because I just don't think Sapa is a place you visit only once. It's one of those places that quietly stays with you long after you've gone home. So, goodbye, Sapa. Thank you for all the little wonders. Next stop, Hanoi. I'll see you there. Finding wonder in everyday life, one little adventure at a time.